welcome to another video. Today we are playing super extreme budget Umi control. We are only using a single UR in this deck, other than the Ash Blossom you get in the bundle. Basically playing the Pacifis Spiral package. It's all ends and R cards, and we're going to be crushing meta decks. So just keep watching. I'll have the full deck list at the end of the video, do a breakdown of what cards you need, what cards you can cut if you think about it. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And until the end, we're going to be facing the meta in Platinum rank, seeing what sort of opponents we're gonna face. And obviously a lot of Despia, so you're going to want to be able to fight Despia. Well, let's see how you do it. We got a pretty medium hand here. We don't have any interaction for our opponent's turn, so they can kind of do whatever they want. They're setting up with two Blazing Dragons. That's going to be quite painful. So we're going to need a way to break this board. We draw Fish Sonar. That's pretty good here. Let's start by making a mistake, as is tradition. Now, I was thinking, Made in the Aqua. When it's on the field, your field is treated as Umi. Great. No problem. So let's get our Electric Jellyfish on the field. When we have an Umi on the field with Electric Jellyfish, we can negate a monster effect or a spell effect. So now we're protected. We really want this Fish Sonar to resolve. So let's activate. Pay 1,000 life points for this. Opponent activates Ash Blossom, and I'm like, I can activate my Jellyfish. No. Gotta pay attention to the fine print. Gotta read the card. If there's a field spell on the card, this effect is not applied. So we do not have Umi, but you know what? That's okay. We can make mistakes. We're gonna set this Ice Barrier, pass the turn to our opponent. Jellyfish is gonna send a Pacifis Phantasm Spiral to the graveyard to summon the Spiral Dragon. Opponent's going to negate the effects of our Jellyfish. We're going to destroy the Aluber, and opponent's going to end up with the same board they started with. So we didn't really accomplish too much. Made a couple mistakes, but you know what? It's okay. We'll keep playing. There was no real way to play around the Ash. Should have just not summoned the Made in the Aqua. Let's use our Ice Barrier. Make our opponent's attack 0. Opponent is banishing Ice Jade Tremora. Not really sure why. Maybe opponent just felt like they needed to activate there. Getting itchy fingers with the Call by the Grave. So save our Jellyfish for now. Opponent gets to summon the Aluber back, attack over the Jellyfish, and attack over our Umi. So we're left with just a lone Spiral Dragon. And don't worry, I'm sure there's a way out of this. Let's use our Ice Barrier in the graveyard. We can search for any level 5 or higher water monster. We're going to search for our 1 copy Ocean Dragon Lord. This is the 1 UR we are playing in the deck. Just 1. All you need. You don't need to play 3. Opponent making a Starving Venom Fusion. No activated effects here. Sea Stealth Attack is a great draw. Let's summon the Ocean Dragon Lord. We don't need to search for Sea Stealth Attack now. We can use Sea Stealth 2. With that on the field, we now have Umi. Make sure to toggle on, activate Sea Stealth during the standby phase. Activate that Pacifis. Now Pacifis is a great part of the deck. This is the other part of the deck that's key. It has 2 effects. You can normal summon it or special summon effect monsters to turn you activate either of these effects. We did this summoning of the Ocean Dragon Lord on our turn. Pacifis Phantasm Spiral, it's Umi. So works with all your other effects, works with Sea Stealth Attack, works with all your cards that care about having Umi on the field. When your opponent activates an effect, so there's 2 key effects here. Your opponent activates an effect, you can special summon a token if you control no tokens. It's a level 8, 200 attack defense, 2000 attack, 2000 defense water worm. And that's pretty sweet because that means Sea Stealth Attack will cause monsters to get popped. And then it has, Pacifis has another effect. When a normal monster is normal or special summoned, we get to add a Phantasm Spiral trap card from our deck to our hand. Sorry, Phantasm Spiral card, not trap card. Opponent's going to activate Allure. That's a card effect. Thank you, opponent. Let's get ourselves that token, and let's search. We can search for a Spiral Battle. Lets us activate to pop a card on the field. We do have to control no effect monsters, but Sea Stealth Attack will take care of that for us. Ocean Dragon Lord currently locking our opponent's field. Sea Stealth 2 going to let us special summon a Phantasm Spiral from the graveyard. Opponent gets popped, wipes the field, but not the Ocean Dragon Lord. Now it's back to our turn. We can activate Search for the Rage of Kairyu-Shin. Fish Sonar. Gonna search for a Megalo Smasher and special summon a Phantasm Spiral Dragon to the field. Giving us another search. Giving us that Spiral Crash. Let's summon the Megalo Smasher X. Activate the Spiral Crash. Now when we deal damage to our opponent, we get to summon another Phantasm Spiral Dragon from our deck or graveyard. So let's attack with the Megalo Smasher. Special summon that Phantasm Spiral Dragon. Attack our opponent directly and get in for lethal damage with the Phantasm Spiral Dragon. And that is the power of Umi control with the Phantasm spell. Pretty sweet, right? Alright, let's go on to the next game. Alright, another interesting hand. We have the Kiroshin Dark Realm. Let's ascend an Umi to the graveyard to special summon 2 monsters from our deck. Following a lot of restrictions here. Opponent is negating the effect of our little jellyfish here. So we won't get to special summon a monster and our jellyfish goes to the graveyard. That's a little awkward. But we're just going to set 3 back row. Hope for the best. Make sure to toggle on. Activate that Sea Stealth attack. Luckily the effect of the jellyfish sending the Umi to the graveyard is a cost. So it gets sent even if the effect is negated. And opponent's about to activate Rescue Cat. Now we have 2 options here. If we do nothing, Pacifis will activate. We'll get to search. We'll get the token. We'll get a search. For a trap we could activate, maybe negate a monster effect. We have another option here, and I'm going to go for the more fun option. Let's activate the Dark Reef, send that Umi to the graveyard, and we can special summon 2 monsters from the deck. Opponent going to activate Max C. They'll get to draw 1 card. You know what? That's fine. You can have 1 card, opponent. We're going to summon the best 2 cards from our deck. Ocean Dragon Lord and a Umi. Now it's working. It is Umi right now. Our opponent doesn't have any field spells. And our opponent summoned 2 monsters to the field, but they're not allowed to have more than 1 non-water monster because of the effect of Kiroshin. So 1 has to go to the graveyard, and because they have a fire monster on the field, they are not allowed to summon any non-water monsters. They're locked in, and opponent knows what's happening, and they're done. Ruthless. Kiroshin doing all the work here. Alright, let's go on to the next game. Alright, interesting hand. We are missing our big action pieces. You really want the Pacifis field spell or a way to get the Ocean Dragon Lord. Without those 2, you're going to struggle a little bit. Sea Stealth is okay. We do have a Kaiju to interact, but we are hoping to draw 1 more piece here. Opponent is going first, and they're playing Shadow Despia. Definitely a deck you'll see a lot of. Mirror Jade, summoning onto the field once per turn. Can banish a monster. Alright. Opponent made a pretty solid board here. And we unfortunately draw Megalo Smasher, a bit clunky. Let's Kaiju away that Mirror Jade. We want to survive for the next turn. So, goal here to keep our opponent's attack points down. Opponent's going to do what we expect here. Summon a Shadow Winda. Now this locks both players into only special summoning once per turn. We don't need a special summon. Let's use the Megalo Smasher. Now we're going to pass a turn, but our field's going to get wiped because of the effect of the Mirror Jade. It was sent to the graveyard. So we're going to lose our little boy here. We can set the Sea Stealth attack, but can't really do anything else. We're really just hoping our opponent can't get lethal. Opponent going to special summon the Jester. Activate a bunch of effects here. Shadow is pretty effective. Now opponent can't special summon any more monsters, so they're setting another card, but we're alive. This is good news. And we top deck the field spell. That's great. Field spell, excellent. Let's normal summon the Megalo Smasher. We get to special summon the token, or search for a Phantasm Spiral Dragon, apologize. And now we can special summon the Phantasm Spiral Dragon from our hand. We have Sea Stealth attack. Our monsters are protected. But let's get attacking. Destroy the Gameciel. And pass back to the opponent. Opponent going to use the Schism. 2 fusion summon. El Shadow Alp Cologne. That's a little awkward. It negates the effect of our Sea Stealth attack. Now, Sea Stealth attack's effect to banish is actually a cost. So our monsters can still be banished until the end phase, but our spell and traps will be able to be destroyed. The effect is that it protects your spell and traps from face-up spell and traps from destruction. So that effect is negated. Also, the battle effect to destroy monsters that battle with us also negated. So that's a little awkward. Sea Stealth is offline right now. We do got a beefy boy, and we do have the field spell. Field spell can still do work. Opponent gonna summon another Mirror Jade. Unfortunate. The second Mirror Jade is a bit of a problem. We do get the token now though, because opponent activated an effect. And we get to search for the Spiral Power. So we can use this to negate a monster effect. Now this is a mistake, big mistake here. Should have just waited. Should have just held this. Our opponent can't get through our whole board. We should be using this to negate the activation of Mirror Jade or an impactful effect, because opponent can just activate in response and banish. So they're going to activate in response, banish card on field. Mirror Jade's effect activates to target on resolution, so we can't even dodge it with the effect of C Stealth attack. So they do get to banish. So big mistake here. You gotta be very careful. This deck really punishes you for making mistakes. It's not an easy deck where you just say start banishing your opponent's things. Nah, you gotta be very careful about your negates. So don't make any misplays. You can get punished heavily. Do get token back because opponent activated an effect, and we get the Phantasm Spiral Dragon back. But with our Umi our C Stealth offline, we're in a little bit of trouble. Opponent's El Shadow cannot be destroyed by battle. So that's awkward too. We could have attacked this face down card, but we're just going to let him have it for now. I was worried about flip effects activating. Let's activate negate with Ash. This is going to special summon a monster from the deck, but opponent has Call by the Grave. Opponent using their Call by the Grave carefully. We didn't have much to negate before this from the graveyard. So opponent's in a really good spot here. They've negated our key card, C Stealth. We don't have a real recursive value engine anymore since we've already used the field spell. And opponent's still got that banish from the Mirror Jade. And now Guardian Chimera is going to come. We can't protect our face-up spell and traps from destruction because C Stealth's negated. All we can do is banish our boy till the end of turn. Opponent's going to choose the right targets here. Pop our C Stealth and our field spell. So we're in big trouble. Our token's down. And we're dead. So it doesn't always go perfect. Just kidding. Opponent can't attack with the El Shadow. Or they chose not to. Who knows? Maybe opponent's BMing. Let's activate Foolish Bilgit. Send an Ice Bear to the graveyard. Now our only hope is that Mirror Jade can't activate Mirror Jade's effect. You have to send a fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard that mentions Fallen Alba as a material. So if opponent doesn't have another monster with that attribute, like Sand Fusion Monster with Fallen Albaz, they won't be able to activate. We can summon the Ocean Dragon Lord, search for another Umi, and opponent's board will get wrathed. So let's go for it, try and activate. But of course opponent has another Fusion Monster. Our last monster gets banished and we're lethal in 10,000 ways. So, you know, not always perfect, but let's do one more game. Now, we did lose that last game, but we are playing a budget deck. You're not going to win every game, so don't be upset if things don't work out. You just got to try your best. Alright. This is a great hand. We got gold here. We can activate Pacifis. Activate it first so that Electric Jellyfish can negate spell and monster effects. Special summon that Ocean Dragon Lord. Activate the Dragon Lord effect. Search for the Sea Stealth 2. Even use our Tremora to summon the Citadel Whale. Search for the Sea Stealth that way. That was why we searched for Sea Stealth 2 on the field. With our Ocean Dragon Lord. No need to get redundant Sea Stealths here. And activate this in the standby phase. So we got protection. Opponent. Probably the best top deck they could have had. Super Poly. Gonna get rid of two of our monsters. Choosing the Ocean Dragon Lord and our Jellyfish. Taking our negate offline. We do get the effect of Pacifis though. Something that you wouldn't have got if you had Legendary Ocean. So in a way, maybe this is a superior version of the deck. Legendary Ocean doesn't really do anything other than reduce the levels and be Umi. So Pacifis doing a little bit of work here. We get the Spiral Power so we can negate a monster effect. But our opponent has used Moon Dragon of the Swamp to name Dark. Changed to Dark. So we actually can't target Dark monsters this turn. So opponent's free to do it. Do whatever they want here. We have no interaction. Another key thing to note, can't activate this spell, this trap from hand, unless we control no non-effect monsters. So we'd have to use Sea Stealth to banish the Citadel Whale. Opponent's still summoning stuff. Using the Chaos Creator to get back their Predaplant Anaconda Verte. Summoning a Thunder Dragon Colossus. That is going to stop us from adding cards to our hand by card effect. Using Predaplant Verte to make this Dark protective from card effect targeting. Opponent gonna attack. We're gonna let our whale die here. We could have saved the whale take 3,000 damage, but I think our life point's gonna matter here. So we're gonna let the whale die. If we can get him back, he has an effect to summon himself from the graveyard by tributing 2 water monsters. Top deck a Kaiju, that's pretty great. we can get rid of that Abramax. That was very hard to get rid of because not only is it untargetable with its own effects, it was made using a IP Masquerena, which meant it couldn't be destroyed by card effects at all. No targeting, no destruction by card effects, increases its attack, so glad to get rid of that with the turtle. Moondragon gonna change attributes, shuffle our Pacifis into the deck with the effect of the Abramax too, so we're lucky we got Sea Stealth and Umi still. Sea Stealth 2 being Umi is going to summon that Ocean Dragonlord from the graveyard during our battle phase. We can activate Sea Stealth to banish it for end of turn so it doesn't get destroyed, brings it back. We're doing a lot of work here with our one Ocean Dragonlord. Sea Stealth's gonna bring our Jellyfish back onto the field. Opponent rudely attacking with the Kaiju, lets it get popped. We can banish to save our Ocean Dragonlord. So he comes back at end turn. We'll wrath away our opponent's field again. But we gotta grind our way out of this. And we can't destroy the Thunder Dragon Colossus until we get rid of every Thunder monster in our opponent's graveyard, and they have quite a few of them. Let's summon the Jellyfish. Banish with the Sea Stealth 2. We're just trying to build up our field here. We can't activate Terraforming, we can't activate Ocean Dragon Lord's effect to search because of the Thunder Dragon Colossus. Opponent's gonna attack us. Every turn they attack, they banish a monster from the graveyard. And they can't summon anything else while the Ocean Dragon Lord's on the field, and Jellyfish is going to negate any spell or monster effects they try and activate. So we're in a good spot here. A second Sea Stealth is actually great. These effects are not hard ones per turn, which means multiple Sea Stealths stack. You can banish multiple cards, you can do the destruction effect multiple times. So now when opponent attacks our Ocean Dragon Lord, they're going to try and get destroyed twice. So that means they're banishing 2 cards from the graveyard, and we get the Pacifis on the field. So if opponent activates a card effect, we're going to get that token. Opponent's attacking, banishing more Thunder monsters from their graveyard, 2 at a time now. They're running out. Running out of Thunder monsters. Only the Batteryman Solar is left as a Thunder monster in the graveyard. Opponent going to try and activate to add their Chaos Creator back to hand. We're going to negate with the Jellyfish. Jellyfish putting in work too. And because opponent activated an effect, now we get the token. And the field spell is going to activate again. We get to search, except we can't add cards to hand because of Thunder Dragon Colossus. But at least we got this token. Back to our turn. Ice Bear is a great draw. Let's activate Phantasm Spiral Power, negate the effects of this Thunder Dragon Colossus. Now that we have a normal monster on the field, no effect monsters, now we don't have to worry about all those Thunder monsters left in our opponent's graveyard. We can just attack over it. Let's summon the Kairyu-Shin, Ocean Dragon Lord onto the field. Let's attack with our token. An opponent at the end of the battle phase has an evenly matched. We cannot activate our Sea Stealth attack to banish. Can't activate it. Too late. Everything's gone. But now we can search for cards, which means we get that Pacifis on the field. We can set Ice Barrier. We can pass back to the opponent, and we get our Jellyfish back because he was banished by Sea Stealth, so he comes back at that turn. And opponent knows they're done. We got the negate with Jellyfish. We still got another set trap. Beautiful game. Showing the power of this extreme budget deck. Now let's show off the deck list. Alright, here is the full deck list. We got a bunch of normal monsters. This is just to activate the Pacifis spell. Also, Kairyu-Shin can summon some of them, and we get free summons with the Fish Sonar. So there is a lot of extra value to having these normal monsters in here, in addition to the synergy with the field spell. We got our 1 copy of Ash Blossom. This is just assuming you've opened the bundles. Everyone's got this. If you have more ashes, you can definitely sub some more ashes into this deck. We got 3 copies of the Jellyfish. We got the Doom Kraken. This is not necessary. If you want to take this out, replace it with something else, definitely worth it. Do not take out the Maiden the Aqua. You need this card. This card, that being Umi on the field, is key when you activate Kairyu-Shin Dark Reef. Sending your Pacifis to the graveyard, you need another Umi on the field. So being a searchable monster that is Umi, very key. 3 Jellyfish. Jellyfish is an N. It's just great. Negates, special summons your monsters. It does everything you want to do. Excellent card. 2 copies of Ice Jade Tremora. Not sure about 2. Maybe you want to run 3. Maybe you just want to run 1. The fact that you can search for it, and it lets you special summon monsters from your hand, your high level monsters, the Citadel Whale, the Ocean Dragon Lord, even the Phantasm Spiral Dragon, is pretty useful a lot of time. So it is a pretty interesting card to have in the deck. You can search for it with Ice Barrier, so probably worth keeping 1 or 2 of these in. We got our 1 Ocean Dragon Lord. If you got more than 1, run more than 1, but we're just showing off the budget version, so this is our 1 UR that we're playing. Citadel Whale, another kind of fun splash. You can probably remove this if you want. Not necessarily a card you have to run, but it does search for your Sea Stealth attack, and its effect to negate effects that target your water monsters is pretty useful. Being a high level water monster that you can special summon from the graveyard by tributing lower level water monsters also has really good synergy with Sea Stealth, because it means you can start activating that Sea Stealth attack, again, and you have multiple, so extra ones are sometimes useful. 1 copy of Gameciel. You're going to want a Kaiju. It's searchable with Ice Barrier as well. Terraforming is not necessary for this deck to function. I know I said I'm only playing 1 UR. You do not have to play Terraforming for this deck to work. I just happen to have it, and if you have a Terraforming, you can run it. We got 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. This is pretty sweet. Searches your Ice Barrier. Also, sometimes you can use it to send Pacifis to the graveyard, which you can use Sea Stealth attack to pull out of the graveyard. Pretty cool synergy. 3 copies of Fish Sonar. This is just a great card. Searches for basically everything in your deck, and if you have an Umi on the field, you can special summon water normal monsters, which means you get either Phantasm Spiral or a Megalo Smasher. Phantom Spiral Crash is the best equipped spell for the Phantasm Spirals. If your opponent is turtling, they got monster in defense mode, you can attach this to one of your monsters, do piercing battle damage, and when you deal damage to your opponent, you special summon the Spiral Dragon from your graveyard or your deck. 1 Sea Stealth 2. Might want to run more than 1 of this. It's pretty good. As you saw in some of those games, resummoning your monsters from the graveyard after they die, excellent value. Rage of Kara is even better in this deck because the tokens that the Pacifis spell makes are level 8, so you can activate your Rage of Kara using those. 2 copies of Ice Barrier. Triple Spiral Battle. This is just kind of the generic pop. Probably debatable if you want to run more of the Spiral Power versus the Spiral Battle. You might want to try 2 and 2, see what works best for you. I didn't do a lot of popping with the Spiral Battle, but I did some negating with the Spiral Power, so something to keep in mind. I got the 1 copy of Imperm. This is just the card that everyone has because of the bundle. And we got the Dark Reef and Triple Sea Stealth extra deck. If you got extra deck cards, you run them, but you don't need them. As you saw from all these games, we did not need an extra deck. Alright, hope you liked the video. If you got tips or tricks or cards you think should work well in this deck, let me know. Let me know what you think of the deck. And if you like this video, consider subscribing. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a good night.